Citizens of the world, welcome back to another Keep Yours podcast where we try and keep a few dollars in your wallet. And today we are going to try and cover a multitude of topics, and this is just going to be one of the videos that I try and get out today. This one's just on unemployment. So I'm going to try to cover some basics and what the new law that passed yesterday means for people. And normally I do a PowerPoint presentation on the side of this. Today you're going to get it quick and dirty, and we're going to go through some of what I've basically written in a blog, so you can reference it there. So sorry there's no slides if you're on YouTube. You're going to get a broken down version because I got a couple other topics that I want to get to and really want to start focusing on people and decision making that a lot of people have some rough decisions ahead, because while this law is going to help a lot of people and some businesses, it still leaves a lot of tough decisions on the table for people going forward. And that's more important to me to address than just educating people on what's going on right now. But let's just get straight into it. What you need to know about unemployment. So first, let's just talk about what unemployment is and why it exists. Unemployment is the original backstop for people when they lose their jobs through no fault of their own. If you quit, if you get fired because you don't show up to work, or because you're incompetent, or because you're treating other employees badly or harassing people, you don't get unemployment benefits. Unemployment benefits are made for people who lose their job through absolutely no fault of their own. I didn't do anything. I went into work today. My boss said, sorry, we lost customers, we lost clients, or we're literally shut down by the state in this case. What do? I go get unemployment. It allows me to get some money while I go find a new job. Now, in the past, in the last financial crisis, 2009, they extended unemployment benefits a lot. Here, they've extended them a little bit, but the other thing that they've done is they've increased the amount. They've realized that this is an unprecedented event, that most people lost their jobs through no fault of their own, so we're going to give people a little bit more money. So what is that going to look like? Well, for most people, that's going to look like a couple $1,000s more per month than they would normally get. So let's talk about how unemployment insurance works to begin with. So each state has their own rules, and their own rules are about how much and for how long. So I'm going to talk about Colorado rules. If you need to look up your own state's rules, just go to your state unemployment website. Hopefully it's not crashed out today. Many of them are. And I'll get to the patience we need to have with the unemployment office here very quickly. So particular rules for each state determine how much and for how long you can get money. But basically, for most states, it's you can get 40, 50, 60% of your wages up to, and then they cap it at an amount. And the reason that they cap it is if somebody who has a, let's say, $200,000 job at a legal firm gets laid off, well, that's a huge amount that they're going to have to pay into unemployment. And also, we'll talk about how unemployment is funded in a little bit, but that would be a big burden on the unemployment system to pay out all of these super high wages. So instead they say, okay, we will pay 60% of your prior wages up to. And part of the reason that they go with 60% is the first, 7.5% for you personally is coming out of your check anyway. So you're already down that amount. And also just to make it reasonable. So those are some of the reasons why, but a lot of this is done over multiple years where you've got a lot of different hands in government policy, and that means politicians not necessarily doing what's the most logical and practical thing to do, but writing laws that we all just have to live with. So normally in Colorado, you'd be eligible for 60% of your wages up to $484 a week. And that is then reduced by any amounts that you receive for, let's say, part-time job or something else. And the biggest reason that they limit the amount to 60% is they want to give you an incentive to go get another job, right? You're not making as much money as you were before, so you have an incentive to go find a new job. Well, obviously you can't go find a new job right now because everything's closed. So they realize this, and that's the plus $600 a week that Congress has just authorized. Is $600 enough? Not enough? Too much? Yes, depending on your circumstances. All of those things are going to apply to different people. Some people are going to make out really well in this. Some people are basically getting $2,400 a month free extra money. Other people, that's not going to be nearly enough to help them cover their bills. So there's a variety of circumstances. wealth and how many months of savings you have is largely a condition of context. So if you have $10,000 a month in bills, this isn't helping you very much. But if you only have 700, well, this is helping you a lot. And that's the decision-making part that we'll get into in a different podcast, but we'll stick to unemployment for right now. So previously, you could only get unemployment benefits for 26 weeks in Colorado. Some states as low as 12 weeks. North Carolina, I think, is the 12-week most restrictive. Now, obviously, this being a crisis, we expect that to expand it. Congress already expanded it by 13 weeks. So now you're going to be eligible for 39 weeks. And that's basically the rest of the year. Now, the extra $600 is only for 4 more months. So if you're in Colorado and you're getting unemployment, maximum benefit of $484 per week, now you can get $1,084 per week for 16 weeks. And then you'll get your $484 a week up until week 39. This is the total amount. $28,000 is basically what you can get over the next 39 weeks. So it's, for a lot of people, that will help pay the bills. You're also going to get your extra stimulus check of $1,200 per person, plus another $500 for each child. That everybody knows about. I'm not going to go into the details on that. But for the short term, this is what people are looking at. $1,000 a week potentially for each person. Now, hopefully that will pay your bills. Hopefully that will keep you going. And if you were on unemployment before the coronavirus, you're probably going to get that extension and the $600 a week. And how long each of those things will go is going to be up to each state. And this is the hard part about this, is it's really state by state. So here's the biggest change that's been made: unemployment for the self-employed. So specifically, if you were self-employed, if you worked for yourself, you're now eligible. That also includes the extra $600 a week. So previously, you were not eligible in any state system. That means that the states are going to have to change their system to adapt to you and for this new law from Congress. That is not going to happen overnight. In fact, the Colorado site last night said specifically, please do not apply today. We are not ready for you if you are self-employed. Or I believe they even said, hey, please don't apply today because we're going to need you to apply again so you can get this extra $600 a week. They have to figure out how to implement all of these new things into a system, also with reduced staff. So please be patient with your unemployment office. If you need to file for unemployment, I'd recommend it doing in the middle of the night. I filed for an SBA loan the other night, and I did it on a Sunday in the middle of the night. Did it last Sunday. And I'm not talking about the brand new law they just passed yesterday. I'm talking about the economic area disaster relief loans. And they have an online application. Every day I went on there last week, crashed. Couldn't get into anything. Sunday night at midnight, all of a sudden you can get in. So go off hours. That'll help you a little bit get in. But be patient with your local accounting office. Your state unemployment office, they're also got people getting sick. They also have people trying to work from home. They're also have 10 times the amount of work that they normally do. We have unprecedented amount of unemployment claims going on. You know, everyone says Pennsylvania is leading it. I think it's more like how we deal with COVID testing. Pennsylvania's system just didn't crash, so more of the applications actually got through. We're going to have similar types of crazy application numbers for unemployment because every hospitality business in this country is basically shut down. And half of other companies are as well. So, really quickly, be patient with yourself, unemployment office, and if you want to understand how do we pay for this long term? Here's the real quick and dirty. Your employer pays for this. Your employer has already prepaid into the system if you've been working for them. Every year, a certain amount of wages are subject to a percentage payroll tax that all employers pay in for unemployment insurance. That is just a tax that every employer bears for employees. Well, when the system gets overtaxed like it's about to, then it'll probably revert to what it did in 2009, which means what? Which means that the federal government will loan states money. Now, the bill that passed on Friday is giving states money. This extra $600 a week, that's not coming out of our employer pockets directly of what we've paid into unemployment. That's coming from the federal government. Also, the extension of the additional 13 weeks. Some of that will come from the federal government or from a loan. I didn't read into the details of the law specifically on how they're funding all of these things, but I'm pretty sure right now these are all federally funded. But in the past, and if the state runs out of money, they'll borrow money from the feds. Then all of the small businesses, they raise the rate that we pay, and we'll all pay back in. Long term, the system will be fine. Short term, going to be a problem. But long term, I say the system is fine, but expenses rise. And when expenses rise for employers for unemployment insurance or anything else, that will lead to slower growth. But that's a discussion for another time. So hopefully if you had any questions on unemployment, we answered them today. If basically everybody who had a job, had business income, you're eligible. What documents they will require, what they will request of you, that's going to be state by state. There's no way anyone can answer all of those questions, but realistically, they're going to ask for your last year's tax return. So if you haven't got last year's tax return done, get it done. Also, get last year's federal tax return done and insert it into the system so that your bank account information is in the system. Whether or not you owed, paid, whatever, get your bank account number into the federal system so that when the federal government goes to issue these checks here in a couple of weeks, you're going to get yours quicker and faster because your information's up to date and in the system. So that's what I got for today for you on unemployment. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.